The 2023 Game Awards are now over, and it is abundantly clear that the show is not the celebration of gaming that it claims to be. Let's talk about it. Hello there, everybody. Welcome to The Comfy Spot. My name is Tyler, and today we are going to be talking about the 2023 Game Awards and how the show has made it very clear and very obvious now that it is not the celebration of gaming that it wants to be or that it even claims to be. Now, this year had a bunch of awesome big reveals, big trailers, big announcements that had me and a lot of other people very hyped. And in this regard, the show is possibly the best that it has ever been, or at least in the past couple years, this is the best it's been in terms of these reveals and trailers and everything. Whether it was Final Fantasy VII Rebirth showing up, Final Fantasy 16 showing its DLC, Blade from Arcane Lion being announced, Senua's Saga Hellblade 2 showing off gameplay that looks really cool, OD, the new game from Hideo Kojima getting announced, or Rise of the Ronin getting a new gameplay and story trailer and a March release date. And then there's also the smaller games as well, such as the beautiful, lovely Harmonium, No Rest for the Wicked, Big Walk, which looks really goofy and really fun and right up my alley, and then Tales of Kenzera Zao, which also looks super cool and super exciting, and I cannot wait to play that game. In regards to all the reveals and the trailers and everything, again, the show, in my opinion, did not miss. Every single one of these was a hitter. They were all bangers, all fire, all killer, no filler. Aside from the ones that are very obviously, like commercials, like commercial break type status type trailer things that we got going on for mobile games or whatnot. So in that regard, great show. Awesome. Everything outside of that, though, which is arguably more important at a show called the Game Awards, the actual awards, giving the developers their time in the spotlight, giving them their time to shine, giving them their respect, their due diligence. Everything around surrounding that stuff was not great at all. And this year's Game Awards, this is something that the Game Awards has slowly but surely been doing more and more of, which is paying more attention and giving more time to the trailers and less towards the actual awards at the Game Awards. And this year was just like the ultimate culmination of everything that's been building up with the Game Awards in terms of the split between giving time and due diligence to trailers and giving time and due diligence to awards. And this year, the split was far much more in favor of trailers than it was awards and developers. And that's a problem. Now, for years, people have talked about the Game Awards, and when they talk about it, they say, oh, the Game Awards, it's the Oscars of gaming, so to speak. And they say that because the Game Awards, it's an event where it has a bunch of, flash and glitz and glamour and everything. People get dressed up for it. It has, the Game Awards orchestra and all like that. It's an event that it's a very popular, big watch, big numbers, viewer numbers and everything, has a lot of eyes on it and all. It's a very popular awards show for the gaming industry. I'd argue it's probably the most popular, considering that last year, if I'm correct, 2022, the viewing numbers for it were over 100 million viewers across the internet, since it's an internet show. So that being the case, and all the context surrounding it, people called it, the Oscars of gaming and all. But when you call a show the Oscars of gaming, that lends a certain level of, how can I say, importance to the show, a certain level of reverence to the show that one would expect from something like that. When you say Oscars of gaming, one would expect a show that gives the developers, their flowers, properly gives them their flowers, gives them their time to, make their speeches on stage, that gives them time, that gives multiple awards out on the main stage, and doesn't just rapid fire spit them out on the side and just say, hey, here's your award later on, like what's been happening at the Game Awards. But they don't do that. That's not what you would expect from something that's meant to be the Oscars of gaming. What happens at the Game Awards is you get a litany of trailers and all. You get a lot of awards just being announced off stage, just rapid fire, getting like 4 or 5 awards announced in a matter of 2 to 3 minutes with just, no real fanfare or anything or respect towards it all like that. And then when people are able to go on stage, as we saw this year, they're trying to do their speeches, they are kind of forced to rush on through them. You get 30 seconds and then that's it. After that 30 seconds, it's like, okay, we're kind of going to start playing the music now. Time for you to make your way off the stage. Goodbye. We need to make room for more trailers and all. And that is not befitting of a show that the Game Awards claims it is. It claims it wants to be. It wants to be this celebration of gaming, but it's not doing that at all. What it's doing instead is being the MTV Movie Awards of gaming. And this is a perspective that I've held about the Game Awards for a long time now, for the past couple years. And I don't necessarily think the Game Awards being the MTV Movie Awards of gaming, I don't think that's a bad thing at all. Honestly, personally, whenever it comes to the Game Awards, I know what I'm expecting. I know what I'm getting from it. I know that the show is mainly about the trailers. And I know that the awards are essentially more or less second fiddle to the trailers, no matter how much Jeff Keighley wants to say that it's not, or anyone else wants to say it's not. The awards more or less basically play second fiddle to the trailers. That's just the case. It is what it is. And it's something that I know it going into it, but I still always hope for more. I hope that there's more reverence, but I still enjoy the show for what it is. But I've never fooled myself into thinking that it's the Oscars of gaming, because this is what the show's been for years, and this is not what you get with the Oscars. The Oscars, the award winners, yes, when they go on stage, you're not able to stand up there forever making a speech and all, but you're not shooed off the stage in a matter of 30 seconds. The Oscars, they're not a show where it's like, yeah, we're going to show off a bunch of trailers for upcoming movies that are coming out in the next year and a half or so. We're not here, they're just not about that. It's definitely more a show where it pays respect, it honors, it celebrates the movies that came out that current year, and the actors and directors and everyone who was involved in making those movies. You get musical performances from those movies, dance performances from those movies and all, and it's a celebration of them. And while we do get some of that here at the Game Awards, the Game Awards lacks that respect that you get from something like the Oscars. And because of that, the Game Awards will never be the Oscars of gaming. It will always be the MTV Movie Awards of gaming. And again, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing that it is the MTV Movie Awards of gaming. But the problem comes into play where it wants to be both at the same time. And it can't be both at the same time. It just can't. And this year made that abundantly clear, where I kind of said it before, but the first, multiple awards in the pre-show, which again, not out the ordinary. Pre-show, awards. Some awards are given out just rapid fire. Some are actually given to the developers of the teams and all, and then they say their piece and everything. Is a bunch of trailers in the pre-show, but then we get to the main show, and then the first award is given out. And I believe it was for Best Performance, and that went to Neil Newbon from Baldur's Gate 3, who played Astarion. And he gets up on stage, he starts making a speech, and then shortly after he starts, the music starts playing for him to make his way off the stage. And it was kind of, it wasn't cool. It was unfair. It was kind of odd. It's like, wait, why is the music playing so soon? He kind of, he's just started his speech and everything, hasn't been going that long and all. And his speech was pretty heartfelt. He was, talking about how players have reached out to Larry and the developers behind the game and talked about how the game helped them, get through difficult things that they were dealing with and all. And that's really heartfelt. That's something that we should hear from the people that have made these games, that have worked on these games. This thing happened again when Sam Lake, the director behind Alan Wake 2, went on stage to win Best Narrative for the game. And he went on stage, and you could tell it clearly meant a lot for him to be on that stage, to be holding that award, to be recognized, and have his game recognized for its narrative. And he's giving his speech, and then again, not long after he started, the music started kicking in, like, hey, time to get off the stage, shoo, move along now, Sam Lake. We don't care how important this is to you, how revered you are. You need to leave the stage now, because we need to play more trailers. We have a whole lot more trailers to play over the next 3 hours. So it's just, there's a level of disrespect there that is just, it's disappointing. It's frustrating to see from a show that claims, it's here to celebrate the games that we're getting in this year and in the future and the developers making them. It's just utterly frustrating to see that. And then this issue gets compounded even more when you also take into consideration the fact that this year in gaming has been the best year for game releases, but the worst year for the industry in terms of developers that have been making those games. Because this year has seen thousands of layoffs across the games industry, point blank period. And it's completely unacceptable, to say the very least. So, people were hoping, expecting, asking Jeff Keighley to, hey, make a statement, say something, anything about the layoffs, condemning the layoffs in any way, shape, or form, showing some sort of support towards the developers that have been laid off, who have been making all these great games this year. You gave a statement of some sort in 2021 when the Activision Blizzard harassment was going on, and then the wave of harassment allegations across the industry happened. You made a statement of some sort then, which, pleased some people, didn't please others, but you said something then. And then in 2022, the Ukraine thing happened, was going on, and they put out a tweet about that. So they were hoping, hey, maybe you'll say something about the layoffs in the industry this year. And nothing came during the opening speech, which was shocking, to be quite honest. I mean, I expected a bare minimum, of, hey, we had all these great games this year, and it's a shame that not everyone who worked on them is able to be here with us, enjoying just the night, celebrating this night alongside their coworkers, their other developers, so on and so forth. Anything like that. I mean, I'm pulling that out of thin air. That would have been better than the nothing that we got from Jeff Keighley at the Game Awards. And just not having that at all just shows just a lack of care for the people that you claim to be championing with the Game Awards. And then we also had the Future Class that the Game Awards does every year, where they have a Future Class, which is basically meant to be a set of people in the industry that are meant to represent the bold and inclusive future for the games industry. And the Future Class, they sent a letter to Jeff Keighley. Hey, can you say something condemning what's going on between Israel and Palestine, calling for a ceasefire, showing some sort of support for everything that's happening to the Palestinian people. And while I personally did not expect him to say anything about that, the fact that he didn't, but also didn't even address personally, privately to the Future Class, hey, I hear you, I hear what you're saying and all, like, even that is rubbing people the wrong way. And it just goes to show, it's like, hey, maybe the Game Awards really don't care much about the developers or the people that, they say that they really care about. And the Game Awards is really just a show about trailers. We're just here for marketing, and the awards are just a byproduct of it. If you get an award, cool. If not, is what it is. Maybe we'll show your award on the main stage, and maybe we won't. And if you're on the main stage, maybe you'll get time to talk. It's just a shame, and it's a far cry from what the show was when it first started. Yes, there were still trailers when the show first started. That was definitely a big draw of it. But you didn't have people getting rushed off the stage when they came up to accept an award. That wasn't a thing that happened. And the developers were treated with so much more respect and reverence. The key example of this is the Industry Icon Award that the Game Awards did from 2014 until 2018. For those who may not know or may not remember, the Industry Icon Award was an award that was given to someone in the industry that had a profound effect on it, that was a key player in the industry in some way, shape, or form, and going, whether it was the people behind, I forgot what one of the people was. One of the women was someone who worked at Atari. I believe she was like the first woman game developer or woman game programmer. I don't remember exactly. But that Industry Icon Award was so amazing. And when they did it, there would be like, a video that played first showing, showing the company or the people's lives and giving a backstory on, hey, who they were, what they did, why they were so important to the industry. And then that person would come on out and then they would have their time to give a speech. And this segment would go for roughly 5 to 10 minutes, depending on the year. And it was just so amazing. And if you look at the comments on the very first one from 2014, one of the comments says like, hey, I love this. Would love to see more of this. We should get this again. This needs to happen more and more. And it happened until 2018. And after that, it just hasn't happened since. And now granted, 2020, I can understand COVID was going on. 2021, I don't remember exactly how Game Awards was that year. I could understand the COVID years, the 2020, 2021, but like 2019, 2022, 2023, what happened to the Industry Icon Award? That, I would say, other than Game of the Year, was the most important award of the night because it showed, hey, here is someone that had made impact on the industry. That was a boundary pusher in the industry, someone who just had a profound impact on gaming, and we're going to honor them and respect them and give them their flowers now. And we're going to teach everyone here who may not know about them who they are, why they're important, why you should care about them, why they matter to gaming. And there's this, we only did from 2014 to 2018. I know there's more than just those 5 industry icons. There's not only 5 industry icons in the industry. Like, come on now, Jeff Keighley, we can do better. Bring this back. But no, like, it's a crazy thing to think, like, what, they spent 5 to 10 minutes on something like that? Because now that 5 to 10 minutes we spent on trailers for another game or anything else that is not that. It'll be spent on Muppet skits, which again, Muppet stuff, I don't necessarily have a problem with. Taking time to talk with developers on stage about a new game they're announcing, I don't necessarily have a problem with it. I enjoy it. The problem comes into play though when that stuff is coming at the expense of the actual awards and actually giving the developers their flowers, giving them their respect, paying them their reverence. When it comes at the expense of those things, the Muppet skits, the 5, 6, 7 minute conversations with devs about their new game announcements, that stuff does not matter. And that's the stuff that should be cut. That's the stuff that should be shortened up for sure, because the awards are what should matter more. And if the Game Awards ever wants to get back to actually caring about the developers, caring about the awards, not having this reputation of being a show that's just a marketing event, just 3 hours of commercials, 3 hours of trailers, winter E3, if it wants to wash away that stigma and get back to actually having the reputation of being what it claims it is, that being a celebration of gaming, a celebration of the developers that make these games, if it wants to get back to that, it needs to make changes. It needs to cut like a bunch of these trailers. And like I love the trailers, don't get me wrong, but again, they should not come at the expense of the awards. More of these awards should be on stage. Best RPG should be on stage. Best score and music should be on the main stage. Like so many others. There's so many others I'm blanking on right now because there's 30 awards and like only 10 to 12 of them were done on the main stage. The rest were just rapid fire, whether pre-show or during the main show. Just, hey, here's another 4 that we're going to rapid fire off right now. And it's like, come on now. More of these should be on stage. I understand not every single award can be on stage because of time. I get that. I'm not saying that every single one needs to, although that'd be nice. That would be nice. But I understand concessions have to be made. Some have to be said off stage. I get it. That happens at other award shows. I'm not like ragging on that. Simply the amounts that are said off stage, it's like, this is ridiculous. This is utterly ridiculous. Best sports and racing set off stage. Like, come on now. Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? What are we having the developers come out for if their game and their award is just going to be done off stage? They don't get to go on stage and accept it and then have time to say what they want to say and all. It's it's disappointing. It's a shame. And honestly, I don't know if the Game Awards will ever, change and actually take in this feedback and do a more even split, start cutting back on trailers, cutting back on this marketing stuff and all, so that we get more awards and more respect for the developers. I don't know if they ever will, because the Game Awards, it is an expensive show to put on. So I understand that Jeff Keighley and his team, they had to play the game of, all right, what do I have to do to pay the bills, to make the show happen? Like, what deals with the devil do I kind of have to make, in a sense, in order, for this to happen? What trailers do I have to bring in? What do I have to allow to be shown off here just for the show to be put on? I get it. It's not an easy fix. I'm not saying it is. It is a difficult thing to wrestle with. I cannot imagine how tough it is to put together a show of this caliber every year. I can't imagine it. I'm not a producer like that. I'm not. I'm just a guy who loves games. It's his lifelong passion. It means the world to me. And I just wish that for a show like this that is as prominent and mainstream as the Game Awards is, for it to actually be what it wants to be. What do you want to be? If you want to be the MTV Movie Awards of the gaming industry, be that and commit to it. If you want to be the Oscars of gaming, be that and commit to that. You can't do both, though. By doing both, no one really wins. And right now, the only people that are winning are the gaming companies that are just having their trailers showed off, and the people who are like, yeah, rah, trailers, awesome. Because right now, the developers who should be winning, they're not. The people who care about that, they're not winning at all. And even people who do like trailers, sitting in their room, sitting at home or in that theater for 3.5, close to 4 hours, watching a bunch of trailers back to back to back. I mean, be real. They're not winning entirely either. So, I don't know. Those are my thoughts, though, on the Game Awards. What do you all think? Let me know down in the comments section below. Do you agree with me? Do you think the Game Awards is it failing at what it wants to be, at what it's claiming to be? What did you think of this year's Game Awards? Did you really enjoy it? Did none of this matter to you? Were you just enjoying the trailers and taking them all in and just fine with everything? Am I, just a stick in the mud? I don't think I am, because I feel like a lot of people online are on my side on this. But regardless, let me know your thoughts down in the comments section below. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, like this video if you enjoyed it, and also turn on the notifications as well. That way you know as soon as new videos go live. I've been Tyler. You could follow me on Twitter also at TylerMiller2496, and follow TheComfySpot on Twitter at TheComfySpot. Or X if people call it that, but I don't call it that. That's why I call it Twitter. All that said, thank you all so very much for watching, and I will talk to you all in the next one. Have a great one, guys.